Okay, today we are going to learn about applying the exponent rule for negative exponents. So, you cannot have a negative power, okay? If it's a negative exponent, then we have to make it positive. So, let's think of our numerator and our denominator positions, okay? One is on top and one is on bottom. So, right here, 8 to the negative 1 is technically as a fraction over 1. So it is on top. So for us to make it a positive power, we need to move it places. So it now becomes 8 to the first. Now we took everything from the top, so you have to replace it with a 1. Do not give me 8 to the first, because 1 over 8 to the first and 8 to the first are two totally different answers. And so 8 to the first is 8, and that would be your answer. Okay? If I have 1 over 3 to the negative second power. Again, I cannot have a negative exponent, so to make just the exponent positive, I need to move it places. So it is going to come from the bottom to the top. And when we do that, it now becomes 3 squared over 1, which we don't write over 1 in our answer. So what's 3 squared? 3 times 3. Which is 9. Okay? If I have x, y to the negative third, x and y do not belong to each other. There is technically a multiplication symbol in between there, and that x has a power of 1, even though we can't see it. So the only thing we need to move is our y to the negative third. So again, it is in the top position because it's technically over 1. And the only thing we are moving is y to the negative third. So keep x to the first on top, over, bring your y to the negative third down, and that 3 becomes positive. And that is our answer because we cannot simplify anymore. X's and y's do not belong to each other. Negative 18, a squared, b to the negative third. We have never moved negative numbers in our entire life, okay? So just because a number is negative does not mean we start moving it. We are only moving negative exponents, okay? So, again, each term is separate. This negative 18 is by itself, a squared is by itself, and b to the negative third is by itself. They do not belong to each other. So, it is over 1. The only thing we would need to move is our b to the negative third. So you leave negative 18a squared on top over, move b to the negative third down, and it becomes b to the positive third. We are simplified because a's and b's do not belong to each other. Okay, so again, step by step. Negative 8 is by itself. X to the negative 2 is by itself. Y to the fourth is by itself. 2 does not belong to that z to the negative 1. Now, we are going to simplify our numbers like normal. What is negative 8 divided by 2? Negative 4. And then I'm just rewriting my exponents. Okay, I simplified this and did negative 8 divided by 2 and got negative 4. Now, move your exponents. Negative 4 does not have a negative power. It is technically a 1. Okay, so it stays on top. Y to the fourth is going to stay on top. I'm going to need to move z to the first to the top to make that negative 1 positive, and then I'm going to need to move x to the negative second down to make it a positive 2. And that is our simplified answer because y, z, and x do not belong to each other. Okay? And I'll work one more, maybe two more. 3b over negative 5 c to the negative 1. The only thing that has a negative power is the c. This is not a negative power, it's just negative 5. So the only thing we need to move is our c. So keep 3b up top, take your c to the top, and it becomes a positive 1. And then what stays down here? Negative 5, because it does not belong to that c. And I think I'm going to quit there. So if you have any questions, just rewatch this or search other things.